Hey, it's Captain Matt with Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast from the Lighting Trade School. The marketing and advertising about the follow up and the win back campaigns was a big hit. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about, I'm going to call it marketing and advertising, maybe branding, definitely client expectations, client experience. And one thing I want to encourage you, I was talking to a few guys who, are getting a lot of no's for soffit lighting. Right there, they're pitching. They're saying, "Well, no one wants it," and then kind of dive in, like, okay, why? Because if you're not closing anybody, um, but you're still following the same process, and you're not looking at your process, I always like to try to turn inward when a marketing or an advertising campaign isn't working, or if I'm not landing jobs. I'm spending time creating the proposal for them. It's not their fault. I didn't qualify them. So either I'm bad at qualifying. There's a something wrong with my offer. There's something wrong with my messaging. There's something I'm not building enough value for. There's something I'm doing wrong. I can't be mad at the person when it's continually happening. It's clearly something on my end, and I like to look at it um, all the time because I always want to do better because I know that I can do better. Just because I'm doing good now, there's always a next level of doing better, another level of providing value. So in these cases, they showed me what they're doing. They're using Jobber and sending, line item, this for the front, side, whatever the case might be, and really no value. And it reminded me of what I used to do, which was, similar to Jobber. I use Joist, and Jobbers definitely have more tools and everything, but for this purpose, they're the same thing. And I was out at a client's house once and I had to like handwrite it. I didn't have internet service or something like that. Right. And so I'm writing it out. When I wrote it on a piece of paper, like a quick quote type sheet for the soffit lighting, I wrote out, I was like, what am I going to write? I wrote gemstone install and then the price. I'm like, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is silly. Where I'm going to hand this to the guy and what am I going to go over? Hey, we're going to do the front of your house. This is the price. It's just like, geez, I don't like this at all. Where is the value build? Yes, we've had conversations. Yes, I showed them the track work and all that. There's been other things that have been value added, but every action I take, I like to add value, right, in the process, whether that's a sales process, an onboarding process, a final walkthrough process. Always want to add value, build a relationship. It's super important. So I was sitting in my car. I had my brother Mike with me, and I said, well, okay, before we just go do this, it literally says gemstone front of install with the price. I don't like it. Let's build this out. What is actually included in this? And so that was cool, right? So, well, geez, there's a color matched aluminum track. There's all the light pucks that you need. There's audio cable that runs the length of the house. There's a power supply. There's a controller. There's data jumps, right? There's all of these different. Oh, there's wire hiding, loom tracks to hide the wire. And so we just started writing all these things out that actually were included, right? I can take for granted. I'm sure you can too. We take for granted. Well, no, what do you mean? Why do I have to spell that out? Of course they know that. They called me for soffit lighting. Of course it includes the soffit lights. Of course it includes the power supply. Of course it includes the lights themselves. Well, maybe it is, and of course, or everyone will know it, but writing it out shows them, right? Most people don't realize it's going to take another roll of audio cable. There's a controller, there's a power supply, all of these things that the client kind of knows that the lights will just work if they pay you, but they don't realize everything that goes into it on all the material costs. And then, okay, what does the install provide, right? This includes installation. This includes a 1-year service warranty. This includes lifetime warranty on the product. This includes a 10-year warranty on the power supply. It's transferable to a new homeowner, right? We are selling the same product, but now that sheet was filled out, and it was like, yo, this is how we can present it. So we actually changed our digital one to lay out all that same thing. Now, that is just one thing that you can take from just saying the words color changing smart soffit lighting to, this is everything. And you build the value in even the line item. But also, right, I switched to using a really nice proposal instead of just I'd build it in Joist, build it in Jobber, and then I would make a proposal. It's make a template of example jobs. What does it look like during the day? All the FAQs we all know we always get for whatever job you're doing, whatever service you're offering. The most common questions. It's the ones that you have to go over with clients every time. So in the proposal, I'm answering all the questions that I know for a fact that they're going to have. I'm able to answer the questions before they actually voice them to me. They already have them. Now I'm answering them without being asked. So this proposal hits all that. Plus, it shows mock-ups of their house, right? And it's awesome. That's a great PDF. Then I go even one step further and I'm sitting down recording myself going over this PDF page by page, building value, stacking value upon stacking value, showing daytime, showing wire hiding, showing the power supply, all of these things that I know actually matter to the client, showing this is a mock-up. This is what it looks like in real life on the same house. This is another mock-up. This is what it came out looking like. So now when you see your mock-up, you can better understand what the mock-up looks like versus what it will look like in real life. Right? All of this, I'm videoing. I have myself in the corner of the screen. I'm talking. I'm using my words, even though the proposal, could be printed, could be emailed, and it does the job on its own. It's always different when I can speak to it, talk about it, have a real voice. It's not a highly edited, when we make a proposal templates, right? Like we're constantly revising them, making them tighter, changing words around where they work on their own. But when you're talking, you always present something a little bit different, right? You're able to joke around more. They can hear a tone of voice. You can kind of dive deeper into maybe something's a little bit harder to explain with words, or I show a video of the lights on a home going through different patterns and colors. And I show that on video. I can't show that on video when I print something out. So I'm able to use the video of me watching the video showing them what the lights will look like, right? But it's building value. They get to hear me. They get to be reminded that I'm a real person and not just a PDF, right? So I go over with it page by page, and everything that's included. The fact that they get all of the aluminum tracks and the lights and the power kit, right? So now I went from just doing a line item to doing a line item with everything that's actually included, and to then doing a badass looking proposal, to then using that badass proposal, making a video of me making it, and now presenting it like that. So now, is it super hard to meet with people when you're not trying to close them on the spot? I'm not a high pressure sales kind of guy. I don't close a lot of people on the spot, mainly because I don't ask them for money on the spot. Because I really like to, especially when it comes to like landscape lighting, I like to think about it. I know generally what I'm going to do, but I don't know all the trick shit that I've decided yet. And for, gemstones, really for the soffit, the permanent smart soffit lighting, I'm not really going out to the people's houses, right? I don't really need to kind of get this proposal together. I can do it all virtually with measurements, no different than I can do with Christmas, right? So we can get to a number and do all of this, and I'm able to provide and still build that relationship and send it to them. Not only does this video have them see me, have them hear me, kind of, understand my style, understand I'm a real person. They're also able to watch it at their leisure. And I'll tell you right now, most people that are expecting a proposal watch that video super fast, right? Lunch break, watching it. You send it at 1:11, they're watching it at 1:12, right? Because you're not setting up a meeting. You don't have to get, I want both decision makers there, all of that. Super important, right? If you can close in person, you can set up these meetings in person. In-person meetings always have a higher conversion rate. But for me and how I do it, and the people that I play ball with, they're just not around. They might be watching this at 1 p.m., right? The guys are super busy, especially on the landscape lighting side of things, right? We're doing badass properties and estates. They need to be able to watch it when they can, and they need to be able to rewatch it. I think it's pretty vital, right? Because even you listening or watching this podcast right now, I'm giving you a lot of information. And I can promise and guarantee that if we talk to every single person watching this. There's not one person that can regurgitate and remember everything that I just said. It's impossible, right? Like there's too much new things coming at you, even though you're familiar with the subject. Oh, what do you say? Oh, he actually lists out this. He always lists out that. He makes a video. Wait, what does it do? Is it P? Right? So now think about your client receiving anything, whether you're sitting down with them, whether you're doing it in Job or doing it in Joist, all this information is coming at them. You're telling them a lot of information. If you're sitting down at their table having this conversation for a half hour, you're bombarding them with new information that they're not used to having. There's no way they're going to remember everything. So I love the video so they can rewatch it. They can watch it, then their spouse can watch it, their partners can watch it, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. They can watch it 5 times, they can watch it once, they can watch it a half a time. Um, it's super important. And I've seen my close rate go up even higher than well, my close rate stays high, but I'm able to close more work because I'm not doing that windshield time of consistently actually having to go out and meet somebody. Right. So if I go out and meet somebody, maybe I can meet 3 or 4 people a day versus me making the video from the office. I can get out 10 to 20 of them per day. So what is going to be the biggest return on my time? It's obviously the video. And I'm not, because of all this value I'm bringing, I'm not just shooting off an email with a price. I'm still building the value. I'm still sitting down at their kitchen table, if you will, and having that conversation, but I'm doing it on video and it works super well. If you'd like to explore that more, you can visit my website, captainmattoutdoors.com. Click on the mentoring option one because the other one is for people that are looking for lighting, or maybe you're, somebody that just loves landscape lighting and you're listening to this podcast. You can go on there and contact me. I'd love to do a design for you and then help you find a lighting guy in your area that can actually install it and pull off all the trick shit that we will come up with when I design it. So yeah, check it out. Do review your process. I would encourage you, if you're listening to this still at the end here, review your process when you send out a proposal or when you tell a client your rate or however you deliver a proposal, whether it's in person, whether it's day of, day after, a week later. Dive into it, tear it apart. Every time someone says no, try to figure out why without blaming the person that says no. You can take that on as yourself. What could you have done better? How could you have made a better process, set a better expectation, something that you can change or you can test out on the next one so that you can constantly and continually be upping the game on your end to provide value and allow the people to understand the value that you're actually bringing to them, like why they want to hire you. It's beyond just getting lights, right? I always say, if you want lights, you can go to Home Depot, right? So there is a way to do it. I would encourage you to dive in deep, see how you're doing it, review your close rate. And even if you have a high close rate, what if you made a small tweak, made it better? You got it another 1%, another 0.5%. Always be diving in, always be reflecting on what you can do better. All right, guys, this has been Captain's Quarters First Class podcast from the Lighting Trade School. Hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next time.